Oi oi, and welcome to Wild City Kitchen. This is my first attempt at video blogging, or vlogging as the kids call it. So I've decided to be as chill as possible about it. And if I screw up, I screw up. Because if I and try and be perfectionist, I'm going to be here all day and it's sunny outside, and I'd rather be out there. So today I'm going to be making dandelion pesto. So I've picked all of these from the garden because we're moving out soon. I've let the garden go to like rack and ruin for the last few months, and it's got very wild, so hence lots of dandelions, which is great. I've never eaten them before, so I'm going to eat one raw now just so we can see. Ta-da. I'm not actually expecting it to taste very good, but they're meant to be full of iron, and I think once they're made into pesto they will actually taste quite nice, so we'll see. It tastes like a dandelion. It's because it's not that young a plant, because I've left them for so long, it's quite chewy, not very tender. It tastes very green, but I like the flavour of green things, so it's quite nice. It's probably an acquired taste, a little bit bitter, especially the more you chew it, and yeah, quite tough. I don't think many people would like it, but it's probably good for you. They're also meant to make you pee yourself because they're diuretic, so hopefully that's not going to happen to me live on camera. But for a bit more info, this is the book I've already mentioned on the blog. It's Food for Free by Richard Mabey. And so I'm going to read the extract on dandelions from there once I've stopped chewing. Right. Widespread and abundant in open and grassy places throughout the British Isles, leaves grow from the base of plant and are roughly toothed, hence why it's called a lime. The whole plant exudes a milky juice when cut. Flowers February to November, but especially April and May. And because I'm disorganised and was applying for jobs, I missed peak dandelion season. I watched them all decay from out the window. So I'm not going to be cooking the flowers because there's none left, basically. But you can do lots of stuff with them. You can make dandelion wine, although you have to collect a hell of a lot for that, more than you probably get in your garden. And yeah, you can also deep fry them and stuff, apparently. But next year, when I'm organised. The dandelion is one of the most profuse of British weeds, and in late spring is liable to cover almost any grassy place with its blazing yellow flowers. Its leaves and consequently its roots can be found at almost any time of year except the very coldest, which is welcome given the wide range of food uses that the plant can be put to. But note the French name pissenlit and some of the English folk names, such as pissabed, which could warn you that the plant has a reputation as a diuretic, as I mentioned already. Dandelion is especially useful as a salad plant, since the leaves can be gathered at almost any time of the year. Only after prolonged frost or snow is it impossible to find any. Choose the youngest leaves and strip them from the plant by hand. The root is quite strong enough to be unaffected by the sort of picking. And if you have dandelions growing in your garden, you can try manuring them and covering the lower parts of the leaves with earth or a cardboard tube to blanch them like chicory. They did this in medieval gardens and produced gigantic plants as a result. And again, not organised enough to have done that. But with my little collection, which I've washed many times because they're all very dirty, and there are a lot of cats in Brockley that are probably pissed all over them. So yeah, so we got that. We got cheese, Italian hard cheese. I don't think it's quite Parmesan because that's all the shop had. Crushed garlic, olive oil, salt and pepper. And that's basically it. And of course, not basically it at all, we have me roasted nuts, which are pine nuts, which I don't think are actually nuts anyway, but you don't have to roast them, but I like my nuts roasted, so I have. So yeah, that's all going to go in the blender, and hopefully it will taste good. So I guess I'm going to keep filming as we go to the blender. Really quite not that interesting. Blending with Nickelodeon done. So yeah, add everything to the blender. Maybe I will cut this bit out because it's a bit boring. If I was like Tom Kerridge or something, imagine me, massive man, I'd be talking to camera while I did this, but because I haven't quite got the knack yet. I'm not going to. So we put the dandelions in, we put the cheese in. Da, da, da. Now I've kind of looked at some recipes from the internet for this and kind of adapted it myself a bit because there was only so many dandelions I could find and I didn't want to spend all day picking them. There's no recipe for dandelion pesto in the Richard Mabey book because it was written in the 70s, and as we know, kind of British food hadn't advanced that far in the 70s, so they probably hadn't kind of gathered pesto from Italy by that point. So it's all salads and simple things like that. Right. Hoping this is all going to fit. I should have background music. Except on the cooking shows, it's always some like awful instrumental version of Coldplay, which we don't want. And yes, my Blue Peter moment of ta-da! Here's how I made it. So yeah, in comparison to basil pesto, it is sharp, but it's actually really nice. I would up the amount of cheese and pine nuts that you put in compared to basil pesto because it doesn't have the kind of sweet flavour that basil does at all. It is very sharp, but in quite a nice tangy way. If you get the balance of the ingredients right, which maybe takes a little while of fiddling around, then it is really good. And yeah, so that is dandelion pesto. So if you are like me and have a garden full of dandelions or live near a park that is full of dandelions, but not by the main road, otherwise they'll taste grim and of pollution, especially in London, go out and pick them and make pesto. It's not like the cheapest of meals to make anyway because pine nuts are insanely expensive unless you know of somewhere cheap that I don't. But it's definitely fun and I will let you know if I need a wee suddenly after eating it. So yeah, cool. Thank you for watching, and yeah, my first vlog is done. Vlog, not blog. And the world didn't end. Cool. Bye.